What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the official Cliffy J, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm gonna be giving you guys my Survivor 50 player ranking preseason, like how good I think they are. This is obviously based off previous seasons and their ability in the game, in my opinion, not just based off of one. Like, let's say you have someone like Sari that's played multiple times. I'm ranking her based off of all of her performances together, not just her last performance or her best performance. I'm ranking her based off of everything we've seen. So let's go ahead and get into this video. You guys should already really know my criteria when I rank these. With Survivor, it's a little bit different than Big Brother. I'm obviously looking at their social game, number one, strategic game, and then their physical game. I'm not as focused on positioning and things like that because that's a little bit harder to really dictates. I feel like it's way more flips and votes on Survivor. The alliances are way more fluid. It's more like blocks, a lot more on Survivor. But I do put a little bit more into your strategic ability in the game of Survivor rather than Big Brother because I do think that though they're both social games, people play a lot more self-interested in the game of Survivor. I really believe that, and maybe it's because they don't get as emotionally connected. Yeah, they're trauma bonding out there, but they're not out there for anywhere near the amount of time, and then a lot of now with the new era, they're literally out there for a fraction of the amount of time, so they don't really have that ability to make them close, deep connections, I feel like, and in general, the format of the game, it just does more benefit more strategic leaning players. Big Brother kind of gives you a format of what you should do every week in some capacity. So yeah, nah. Let's go ahead and get into the ranking. I got 24 players to rank. I won't forget any of them this time. So let's go ahead and get into it. And at number 24, I know this is gonna sound crazy to some people, but I got Rick Devens. I got Rick Devens at number 24. I- This is my thing. Not just the fact that he was voted out, but even what led to him being voted out. I think him and David could have somewhat prevented them being viewed such as a pair. Like, I think that's also certainly could be considered a flaw in someone's gameplay being so viewed as a pair. On top of that, you had someone like Chris that it's unequivocally clear that he would have been more closely aligned with them rather than War Dog and Lauren, or if they just decide to vote out someone else in that group. And I just don't I see the logic. Like, I see the logic. Hold on, let me just go to here real quick. Okay, I see the logic of knowing it was about to be a swap and wanted to go into it more united, but that surely is not going to guarantee any type of safety for anybody. So you probably should go with the person that you know is going to be more loyal to you in the long run, just based off the fact that they don't have so many alliance members sitting in front of you in the pecking order. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even really make sense. And yeah, the situation that they got put in was very unlucky to essentially be swapped into the same tribe. At the same time, if Chris was there instead of Kelly, they would have been swapped into a tribe where they have the numbers more than likely and things like that. And I just think that no matter how you slice it, if they're swapped, right? If they're swapped in a situation where you only have what, Kelly and War Dog, and then it's just you as David or Rick, you're cooked still. 'Cause she could just flip they could just flip it on you. They could just flip it on you like you were a player that they couldn't trust and stuff like that, and they probably even have more backing, and yeah, you can say, "Well, that one player usually ends up being able to be the swing vote." Is that really true, though? I don't really think that's true. I honestly think that people like having numbers, so if you have 2 people you're coming with, and you have the other person over there, like, bro, that's way more valuable. So I don't think it was a good decision to do what he did, and then obviously he came back in after win and play idol after idol, and I still don't even think he had the greatest decision making there. I don't think he even played the great. I think he was very boisterous, which I think could be a net negative in some capacity. So it's a lot about Rick Devens that make me say he's not the greatest player in the game, and his track record doesn't have as much great to speak for just because he found a bunch of idols that production probably helped him with. And at number 23, I got Q, and he's the type of person that, like, it's no way you can't, like, not rank him low. Like, how do you not rank Q low? The only thing that Q has over Rick Devens and it's literally the only thing and the only reason I'm gonna rank him higher. I don't really care who you have higher out of these 4 people in this tier. The only thing he has is the fact that he survived the pre-merge in really solid fashion in terms of just, like, he was never really gonna be going home. He was closely aligned with Tiffany and Kenzie, and they were the ones running the pre-merge, and they ran the entire pre-merge. And then he was able to go into the merge with the alliance that should have been able to run the merge. And there has to be some credit given there. He clearly has it's like weird to say, like he clearly has like a good social game though. Like he clearly is a likable presence on the island. It's the strategic part that's just not there. It's not even that it's, like, bad, it's just not there. Like, he's not a good strategic player, but he's just not strategic. It's like, I can't consider him looking at someone he it's not strategic because he gives any reason for why he's gonna target someone. If you can just make up a reason, that's emotional. That's not you just want to target this person, bro. That's all it is. So, yeah, nah, I gotta have Q at 23. He's just not good. He's not like a challenge beast or anything like that. Nah, bro. And at number 22, I got Angelina. And as I said, she could really be the best in this tier. This is the not good tier. This is the really unredeemable ability tier. You know, like, was she ever really taken serious? This is the thing. It's similar to like someone like you. People aligned with you, but you never were really taken serious though. Like I think Q even was probably taken more serious earlier in the game and was way more respected, I would argue, like early in the game, especially. So it's like maybe I should have Q above Angelina, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I'll just have Angelina a little bit higher because she is like a little bit more logical in her actions. They're just still not that great. It's just not that great. And at number 21, I got Emily Flippin. And I got Emily Flippin at 21 because I don't see she just got so good out of nowhere. She just came out of her shell because if you just look at the vibe, and I'm gonna be honest, she came off really odd. Like, I don't know how else to say it. She came off, like, odd, like she's not the type that fits in with regular people. Nah, that's kinda crazy to say. That was kinda mean. But it's, like, it's the truth. Like, and then she was just, like, I don't know. I don't know if she thought that they would just team up against the black people. Like, I hate that people are gonna act like I'm tripping about this, but she thought she could just make Caleb and Sabaya, you know, like the alliance, like all for it before they even got to talk to each other for real. Make them the alliance, right? And they was actually helping the tribe. Keep that in mind. And when that didn't work out, she didn't like nobody on her tribe. Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping, dog. But that's like the aura and the vibe I got, which to me shows that you're the type of player that if you don't like people, you're not gonna be able to really play with them. You're not gonna give them your full self and play the game how you should correctly and talk and all that. And that's not good. And if you guys really, really believe that she went from being that someone that if she don't like you, always cook, I'm not even gonna talk to you, I'm willing to get sent home type energy, to being so cool with all these other players because she got so much better as a player, then honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. Caleb is better than Boston Rob, bro. Like he's better than Boston Rob then. Because you're literally saying that he gamed her up so much that she became like a really good player. I don't think she was ever a good player in any capacity. I think she was needed, and I think that she didn't like the people she was on the tribe with at first. That's really what it comes down to for me. And at number 20, and this honestly just shows the level of the cast members on here, in my opinion. 'Cause I actually don't think that this player is that bad. I got Tiffany, and I know people probably actually will have her higher. Probably will have her above all like the comp beats that didn't really do much. I don't. Uh and I got Tiffany this low, honestly, because her pre-merge is a great pre-merge. It's arguably a perfect pre-merge in some like capacity. But when she got to the merge, I just feel like she kind of took a back seat. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she took a back seat and didn't like control stuff maybe more like how I feel like she should have. And not saying that she just had no agency, but I feel like she definitely lost a lot of agency. And I think that the game was obviously being played under her nose. You know what I'm saying? By other players, especially someone like Kenzie that was supposed to be number one. it's just a lot. It's a lot like of nothingness in the back half of her game because she's like getting swindled. She's outside the majority, but doesn't really know. It's just not like she was really maybe like she wasn't aggressive enough as a player. I feel like maybe if she was more aggressive, she would be able to peep out certain things, but we didn't really see that from her. She wasn't like in the know enough in the merge for me to have her higher. I feel like a lot of these players were maybe in the know more, or they have other aspects of their game because she's not like particularly a challenge beast or an insanely great strategist. She's more of just like a social player, in my opinion. In my opinion, someone that is willing to run it. She knows a little bit about the game, so she'll hide this and do that. Like, but I don't really see much more from Tiffany. I don't really know how else to say it. And at number 19, I've got Chrissy. And solid overall player. Like in the challenges, she's really good. But that's like the least important part, in my opinion. In the challenges, she's really good, but she's not like hopping off the screen socially or strategically. Um, After Ashley, Devin, Ben, and Lauren flipped on their alliance, I feel like she got probably partly just because of immunity wins and Ben bombs. And people say she was robbed, and I don't think she played a better game than Devin or Ryan. And I don't even know if it's for sure she would have beat these players in a final two against them or in a final three against the three. Like, and obviously maybe I could do more research on it, but I just don't remember that being the case. Um, and I feel like they would low-key be able to discredit her game because I feel like they did play both a little bit better, especially Devin. I think Devin obviously played much better. So her game could be a lot better. She's great in challenges. I think she could at points have a disagreeable personality, and that could have honestly gotten worse with more wisdom and more age. Probably want to, let people know what it is. And sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut. And I just don't really know in terms of where I would rank her socially and strategically. I feel like I would rank her on the lower end of the cast. So I'm going to go ahead and have her here at number 19. And at number 18, I got Christian. And with people like Christian, because they're a great character, people begin to believe they're a great player. He's just not. Like, based off what we see, he's just not a great player. And I got a couple of reasons why I just believe he's just not a great player. This is a very common thing here on this list, especially in these basketball players we just talked about. Very strong pre-merge and just completely tapers off post-merge. And his isn't as bad. Like, I could definitely have him higher. At the same time, people like Nick and Davey were just as important in terms of the strategic thinking and the moves they made. Now, at points he was surely better positioned than these other two, but I just think that his great social ability comes with an overrated strategic ability, and I think that's reflected in essentially his entire mid-merge up until when he was sent home at the final 7. It's not like bro was, a fallen angel. So, yeah, and it's not like he's a challenge beast that can and this is you guys know me. If you're gonna be this, like, good socially or this bad at threat management, you have to have a crazy clutch ability in comps for me because how, how can I trust somebody to always have a high threat level but not be able to win at the end to get themselves to the end and win the game? Like, no, it don't even make sense. And at number 17, I got Mike White. And I really think his mentality is so negative in terms of winning. Like, I don't care. Like, he doesn't care if he wins, and he didn't try at Final Tribal. And but he had a drop of control and positioning, and that he is very good in those capacities. Not a comp beast either. But it's just I don't trust him to actually try to win. I don't feel like he tried to win on his season. I don't think he attempted to truly win the game. I think he wanted to see how long he could be out there, see how many volts he could control, see how much power he could get, see how well positioned he could be, see how good of a player he is. Not really win the game and take the money from someone that probably needs it, definitely needs it more than him. And at number 17, I got Jonathan. And maybe it's because I just think he's a less flawed player to a certain extent. I don't know. It's just weird with someone like Jonathan because he probably should be lower. When I'm just looking at all of this, probably should be lower. We're gonna rock with him at 17 though, and I'll make the case. His ability to be aligned with the power players of the season, he was aligned with Mike, he was aligned with Lindsey, he was aligned with Omer, and these players that he was closely aligned with that were for the most part willing to either take him to the end or take him deep in the game. That's a good player. Like, I mean, I think that he gets underrated because he's not likable, but that is a good player. It's a good social player. So even when I can, have criticism with the way that he operates and the way that he talks to people, and sometimes he has so many good qualities when you add it up socially that it's like he's a decent social player. He's definitely not a bad social player when you put it all together. Maybe he could just be that one season they'll end up just getting cooked because nobody likes him or something like that. But I don't even think that's gonna be the case. I just think he's gonna get cooked right before the merge or right at the merge. I think he's done then just because of his physique and what he's already proved that he can do, which is be a comp beast, which that does matter. You're someone that can literally carry your tribe the entire pre-merge and get you guys to the merge. That does matter. You probably shouldn't do it. All right, let's just keep it real. If you're on the game for the first time, you probably shouldn't do that because all you're doing is just raising your threat level. I'm good. We can lose one or two if I got to carry us like that. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, yeah, I got Jonathan at 17, bro. Obviously, we know my criticism with him is the way he be talking, but other than that, and it's not like he has a terrible strategic mind. He just didn't know the game enough. I feel like maybe I'm tripping though. And at number 16, I got Genevieve, and I think Genevieve is certainly overrated. Like I think some people would have her like in the top 10 of this cast. Some stuff. And like the players on the island would think she's like top 10 on the cast, or like top 5 and stuff, because they're very afraid of her. But that's not because she's a great player, though. They're not afraid of her because she's like a great. Everyone here is good. Let's start there. Everyone we're going by now was actually good, but it's not because she's a great player that they're so afraid of her. They're afraid of her because she's so strategic, and she's someone that though she struggled with the friendship aspect of the game, having to backstab a friend and stuff like that. When she dropped caring about friends, she's a ruthless player. And she's someone that can be extremely dangerous because she's good at comms, because she's intelligent strategically, and she can present these moves. She's not some great social player, though. Not saying she's bad. She's clearly good socially. Like that's clear as day. My only thing is, are you going to still be battling with that? And do you actually have the threat management? You know what I'm saying? Do you have threat management? I don't really see it on her. I see her as someone that's going to play hard. And then that's just what she did. She played hard. She was a player that literally played hard. And you could argue to a certain extent, she might have even overplayed at points, which I don't really know if I feel that way, but you can argue that she did. And that's really it. That's really it. I just think that she doesn't have some excellent social ability. She is very strategic, but I don't think that she's an all-time great strategic player. And I don't think she's an all-time. I think she's just someone that's just good at everything. She's like good at everything. She's not innovative. She didn't do anything different or new, in my opinion. She's just a really solid, well-rounded player. Like a better version of Chrissy. Way better than Chrissy, really, though. And at number 15, I got Colby. And I'm giving Colby all the credit in the world right here. I'm going to just be honest. This is for sure my worst ranking on the list. When I'm just thinking about it, I just thought about him next to Genevieve. And then the next player I'm about to go off is like, why is he this high? Oh, gosh. But it's okay, though. It's okay, though, because I still understand my logic. And I actually probably can't stand by it because at the end of the day, like, when you look at someone like him, this is what I'm saying. This tier is all similar type of players except for Genevieve. They are players that are so good in competitions. Obviously, I got to be taking into account his peak self when I'm making this conversation. This is not about what we're gonna see from him. So good in competitions and so good socially that the cast can adore you and not be as threatened by someone that's just dominating the game physically. He is that type of player. Um, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I'm giving him the relative to era, like an extra boost being relative to era, especially the fact that he's played in the more recent era. And though he didn't have a great performance, wasn't necessarily his fault. His season was so bad. Like, a lot of it was because of JT and how bad he played and the position he put the heroes in, and that does matter when I'm having this conversation. That's really what it comes down to. He probably shouldn't be this high, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. Because he actually ain't a bad player, and especially if we're taking out his whole career, relative to era, he is a one of the better players. Like, definitely, he's like a top 10 player of his era, right? If we select the first 10 seasons, he like top 10 in the first 10, right? I'd have to almost make a top 10 in the first 10, but I feel like he's top 10 in the first 10. So yeah, now we're gonna give him some glaze. And at number 14, I got Ozzy. And Ozzy could even genuinely be higher. He is the guy that you literally can put his money where his mouth is. He's someone that can get into an early alliance, control the pre-merge, or at least be in a dominant position all pre-merge. This is true, right? Get to the merge, do his best to keep his alliance. Not saying that he's gonna for sure keep his alliance together, but an alliance can stay together along someone like Ozzy because he is a pretty relatively loyal player. Not the most loyal, but he's a relatively loyal player, and he has enough understanding of the game, and he essentially always has, willing to align with players and things like that that maybe he's not as close with because it's the better decision. And you let him get to a certain point, he can legitimately win his way to the end. He's literally done it before, and he can do it. He showed he can do it again. He could do it this season. I think Ozzy's genuinely probably one of the most underrated players ever because they just pretend like Cook Islands wasn't a strong season. Like, I don't know. They just pretend like South Pacific wasn't an impressive showing. That though he didn't have a great season, he showed himself as a player to still be a solid overall player. Which that's why, like, I feel similar about Genevieve. They're solid overall. It's just Ozzy is an elite challenge competitor, maybe the best of them. To me, he's the best ever, probably. Um, yeah, an elite challenge competitor, probably the best, the most like prolific. Like, he's very good at just win. Like, him and like Boston Rob are like the most prolific challenge competitors. Maybe sure. I mean, they surely have to be the two most prolific challenge competitors. Um, and then he is good socially, and then he's good enough strategically. Because even if you look at a season like Micronesia, he got into these a lot. Like, he's done it multiple times. Get into a pre-game. I mean, not pre-game, pre-jury alliance. I mean, might have been pre-game, but no, pre-jury alliance and ride it out. Get to the merge and be greatly positioned. Find idols, play like. Come on, no, Ozzy is like that. Ozzy's tough. Ozzy's tough, bro. And at number 13, another person I'm giving that like little push from being from a different era. I got Jenna Lewis. I had to go back and look at the history, bro. I had to go back and look at the history. And because I've watched all these seasons, but ain't nobody watching season one right now. And I'm definitely not watching All Stars. I'm not, bro, unless I'm doing a ranking of the seasons, bro. And I've already done that before on my channel. I would probably do another one soon. So I do have different opinions on a lot of the more recent seasons. But come on, nah. I ain't watching season 8, dog, unless I got to. She was relatively innovative for her time, to a certain extent. She was a player that really did pay attention. That's one thing I will give her. And was going on All Stars, and well, she went on All Stars, and she made the final three because, she aligned with the right players and she pushed against the winners and the big players, and for the smaller presences than the players that didn't really get shine to make a move and, make a name for themselves and things like that. She's also really likable, and at the same time, and I'm saying, like, based off the vibes now. Maybe I have to rewatch and see. Maybe she wasn't actually likable then. But I feel like based off the vibes now, she's really likable. And at the time, you know, she is also probably a top 10, right? I don't know. I gotta maybe look at top 10. But she have to be, I mean, because who would really have over, I can't go over all that in this video, but maybe I should do a video on like the top 10 of the first 10 seasons. I know the Moranian review does those type of videos. So maybe I should pop out and do mine or something like that, and then just shock the world with some crazy ones. Having Jenna Lewis at 3. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I got Jenna Lewis at 13. That could be crazy. That could be overglazed. I don't know. But this is the next year I'm in, because last year was like the comp beast tier. This next year I'm in is like the end gamers who were solid the whole season, or like solid entire season or seasons, right? But they have like little glaring flaws in their game. And obviously my main one is the fact that Jenna Lewis let herself get in a position where she was in the final like four with the showmans and Rupert, right? Like cook, bro. And at number 12, I got Savannah. And I got Savannah around number 12 just because her she don't really have like a crazy social game. Like her social game is not crazy. It's good enough for sure. That's why she had alliances. That's why she was a lot of time in the majority. Well, I mean, she was in the majority at points, of course, and she was able to pull people to work with her. And she got really close bonds with Rizzo and Sophie and Nate and players like that that really do love her and adore her. So that shows their social game is not as bad as maybe the edit showed. But even someone that's coming off as like a mean girl, that's not good for business. That's not good for business. And the strategic game isn't bad at all. She had like a solid strategic game, so that's also a plus there. Like her game on paper is a big reason why she's not higher. Because being a winner, I mean, you think that she should just be really high on the list, and she's in a relative position. She's halfway through the list, so yeah, no, I think she's a solid overall player. You guys already really know how I feel about Savannah's game. So I did a ranking of the season 24 players not that long ago. Maybe you guys should go check it out. Did I say 24? I think I said 24. If not, I said 29. I mean 49 players. I ain't gonna lie, guys. Y'all know I'm still sick. My brain is a little bit foggy. And I'm trying to just push these videos out for you guys. No cap. But let's go ahead and get into the next player. And at number 11, I've got Rizzo. Uh yeah, it's similar to what I just said about Savannah. You guys already know how I feel about Rizzo. I'll give you guys just like a summary that I believe that he was the more important player down the stretch, like in terms of a lot of the late game moves, like mid merge, late game main moves that were made. I believe that he's the better strategic player of the two. I think that his social game is probably not gonna be, but it's a little more reliable because he never comes off as mean or rude and never jumped on someone's idol right there in their face when it was clear you were not gonna get it, got you snatched. You know what I'm saying? Like these things just didn't happen for Rizzo. And you just come off as like the evil little witch, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for me to for me not to have Rizzo above Savannah, man. But y'all know I always rock with Soph the most, and don't come out for me saying evil little witch, bro. I'm little too, bro. It's a joke. And at number 10, I got Stephanie. And I remembered her this time, guys, but I got Stephanie at number 10 because we look at her overall career, we look at her overall ability, we look at what she was able to show. It's clear that she is relatively good socially. She's relatively good. It's relative because I think if she was great socially, she would have won Guatemala. I think if she was good socially, she would have won Guatemala. But if she wasn't good socially, she wouldn't have been the last person standing on her tribe. And if she wasn't good enough socially, she wouldn't have literally been the second place finisher of that season. She's someone that also is or has controlled votes. She's someone that is solid in competitions, usually in great shape. Like, I just think that I have to give her that, you know what I'm saying? It's a consistency thing. It's a consistency thing. And then you get injured and get into it. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and say she was getting bullied. Then she goes ahead and get into it with James. It's like, feel me? And I mean, you could definitely say James was over exaggerating too in some capacities. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that because he was, going at her pretty tough over something that was kind of minimal. You know what I mean? But it became something more. I feel like based off the way that she was handling it and they was handling it too. So, um, yeah, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and have Stephanie at 10, and hopefully this legend can go out there and is she a legend? No, you know what I'm saying. Hopefully she go out there and do her thing. And at number 9, I got Camilla, and people have been clouding my judgment recently, making me think that she's better than she is. She's a very good player. There is no doubt about that. She is a extremely good player, very good strategically, like and persuasion. This is like why I think Charm's so good. She's almost like a Charm. That might be her closest comparison. Like as a player, Survivor Australia, Charm, which also shows the level of players in Australia versus US. Because Camilla wouldn't sniff the top like 10 all time. Sharon is definitely top 10 all time Australian Survivor players. So it definitely it definitely is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a little different depending on the country we talking. But Camilla has a lot of skill in the game. And then we obviously seen she also can get the puzzles done, but excuse me, let's be honest. There's players that are smart and athletic. So we're gonna need a little bit more athleticism out of Camilla. We're gonna on this season specifically, obviously, but just her overall ability. I'm not gonna call her a comp beast, obviously, because she's good at puzzles. She is decent at competitions, of course. Um, Good socially because she was positioned well really the entire time. Not the greatest position, like her positioning is not anywhere near the level of the player that I have above her or the player, the winner of their season in Kyle. But good positioning. I just think that some of her decision making could have been a little bit more selfish and more self interested. And I think it could have paid dividends. It could have been risky, but theoretically she was taking risks the entire season having that alliance with Kyle. So I definitely think that it's some faultiness there with decision making, but she's a great player, so can't really say too much about her. And at number 8, I got Joe from the exact same season. And I got Joe at 8 because as I already said, I had him above Camilla on my official ranking. And I also just think Joe's a little bit more of a reliable player. He's never getting sent home pre-merge. It's never happening. Not even if people just want to get the strong, they'll get him out at the merge. They're not going to get him out before because he's that likable. He's extremely likable, very trustable. Like you can trust him. And I really hate that we act like players like this don't win. They literally can win. Um, and it's more reliable someone that's extremely liked and good at competitions to win than someone that's very snaky and roll you under the bus. Where's the bus? I'm gonna drive it over you. Where's the bus? I'm about to throw you under it. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to crush you with this bus. It's more reliable that the less snaky player is gonna win because they'll be more trusted throughout the game and they'll be more respected when they get to the end, especially with a less strategic cast, which some casts aren't strategic. Some juries aren't strategic. People like Camilla, their game will be misunderstood. They were trying to play people and stuff that like pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Joe. Joe's a comp beast. Joe is not even terrible strategically. He just ran into Camilla and Kyle, and they were just cooking them. They were just cooking them. And at number 7, I got Coach. And I got Coach this high because Coach is arguably one of the most underrated players. Because we all just look at like, well, South Pacific don't you want to like, and still he got cooked at the end by Sophie. But like dominated South Pacific, and he was a big player on Token Sheens. A deep run. Come on. Like, I feel like Heroes were feeling the clouds full of judgment. Like, because he just was delusional on I mean, he was delusional on Token Sheens and South Pacific, especially Token Sheens. But still, like, Coach is pretty good, bro. I'm not about to sit up here and act like he's not. He's a one-time finalist for a reason. He should have beaten Sophie based off of their gameplay, in my opinion. But you know, this is where we at with it. Can't put Coach all the way at 1 because he ain't get it done, right? No, that's not the case because I know who we got at 1. And at number 6, I got Charlie. We already know Charlie's really strong middleman gameplay, really good socially, very endearing. People want to be around him. He's good strategically. He kind of got screwed by the fact that he was going against someone that was equally, if not better, socially, and that knew exactly what to play on and had actually a perfect jury setup. People like Q and Tiffany were probably already going to vote for Kinsey. Let's keep it real, they're already going to vote for Kinsey probably, but they also gave it to her, man. They set her up. Like Q gave her a good lob. She was able to windmill that stuff. And then Tiffany obviously wasn't playing. You shun down the Swifties, which that irritated me so bad, bro. That irritated me so bad, dog. Because it was like, we know you're never voting for me. and you're bringing negative energy towards me, and like negative energy for everyone to low key have towards me and my Swiftiness. Like that was crazy, bruh. And at number 4, I got Aubrey. And Aubrey's literally that step. It's that little step that like the elite or the elite. Like Aubrey's right there. Like if Aubrey can go out there and have a strong performance, it doesn't matter if she wins or not. She's one of the best players of all time, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? She's in that like, and I ain't saying she'd be like top 5, but she'd be like a watered down 3. She'd be like top 15 if she's not already in that range. I would say she's probably top 20 right now. Like top 25, you know, because I think there's a lot of like one season players that I would put over her right now because she kind of only has one where she was really like that. Now she was good on Game Changer, don't get me wrong. But she was really like that on Korong, obviously. And Korong is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even though I personally believe she should have won, I don't think that was really a robbery either. Like, I think she should have won based off outwit, outplay, outlast. Outwit, outplay, outlast. I hate that that's like what people say because it doesn't go by that when they get down to like the jury vote, bro. But outwit, outplay, outlast, which is what I usually will go by, strategic, physical, you know, gameplay, stuff like that. Aubrey should have beat Michelle. I don't think that's even a hot take. I don't think that's even a crazy. I think even Michelle, like believers and truthers and people that think that Michelle deserved to win, would say that if we're going by outwit, outplay, outlast, that Aubrey clearly did better than Michelle. You know what I'm saying? Like clearly. But okay. I don't want to open up that can of worms. I probably just did even by doing that, but it really don't matter. It don't matter. Uh yeah, no, she's from that step. Like she has the social game. She has strategic game, like, she has those both on lock. Very good in those categories. And, you know, not a great not a great challenge competitor, but, you know, she's not like she's never won anything. Has she never won anything? She's not like she's never won anything, you know? So, we gonna rock with her at number 4. And at number 3, I got D. Like, this is the echelon that Aubrey can enter if she can go out there and have a really like it would have to be Korong level though. It couldn't be like game changers. It can't be like decent performance, but she made like final 3. Nah. It has to be where she really cooks and she becomes a dominant player and she probably even has to make the end logically, right? I mean one you gotta at least make the finale. You know, one finale appearance or that she has 2, right? 2 finale appearances. I gonna need 3, you know, I gonna need 3. I'm just kidding. But no, let's talk about D. D's ability in the game is it's honestly next level. Same with the next 2 players I'm gonna talk about. And she has the extremely well-roundedness that I'm looking for from a really elite player. Very good in competitions, very good socially, very good strategically, dominated her season, was very liked by the cast by the end of it. Like, yeah, nah. She definitely deserves a lot of credit. And I've already also talked about the next player and why I got her below him. So kind of already know who this next player is. Let's get. And if you guys want to, okay, hold up. The next player I'm about to rank is Kyle. If you guys at number 2, he's number 2. If you guys want to hear my full opinion on D and Kyle's games, and the other one is the new eras too, but specifically D and Kyle's game and who I believe is the better winner and why I believe that they had the better winning season or the better player and all these different things and get a real in-depth opinion on it. I'm actually gonna drop the link to every video I've mentioned in the comments. I've obviously had cards showing up that are probably up above right there that you guys probably should be clicking on. And I'll also have a playlist of all my Survivor videos in the comments also. So let's go ahead and get into why I believe Kyle is number 2 on this list. Just like D, extremely well rounded. I think that he's just as good in challenges, if not better. I would say just as good. I mean, because D's, honestly, I think he's probably a little more well rounded. Honestly, I think he's probably a little more well rounded, but just as good because D's really good in competitions. And we see on the challenge, he's definitely athletic. Um, Strategically, I actually lean Kyle. I think Kyle's strategic game was more impressive to me. He deconstructed the notion that Joe and Eva were the ones running the game, and it was more perception control. They're 2 different type of players. These more aggressive overall. And then socially, I can't say I think D's just better. I cannot say that. I think Joe's connection, Kyle's connected with Joe, his relationship with Camilla, how close he was with David, how close he was with Eva. Like, I just think he was better socially, personally. But I think that you can argue either way. I think they're both amazing in every category. They're both literally players that, if they were back against the wall, probably would have been comp beast. You know what I'm saying? They're both players that, if there was no strategic aspect to the game, no physical aspect to the game, and it was just be likable and have friends, they would easily figure that part out. If it was only strategy and it was about who could make the best moves each week, they could both be good at that game too. So I obviously have to have them up here very, very high. And that's why I got Kyle here at number. And at number one, I got Sari Fields. And I think we all knew I was gonna have Sari at number one. I mean, I could be considered a Sari Glazer, which is crazy because I'm gonna be honest, I've been extremely critical of Sari, especially in the past few. I've been so critical of Sari. But when I've done the research I need to do, rewatching seasons, I really start to realize that Cerie's not recognized as such a great player because she's done so many seasons. She's recognized as such a great player because she genuinely is that great of a player. She's genuinely, arguably the best. And I don't care if she hasn't won. I mean, she has won the Trader, so she has won and Snake of the Grass. She's arguably the best reality TV social game player, strategic social game player that we've ever seen. She is very good at these games. She's extremely likable. One of the most likable players in the history of the game. She is very innovative strategically and is very dominant in the games that she usually is controlling. And no, she's not a good challenge competitor, but she also is so good socially and strategically that she's the type of player that she could get to the end without being a great like player in that aspect. Yeah, we've seen mistakes made by Sari. Yeah, we've never seen her sit at final tribal council, but we've seen everything else that we need to see. And if it's not clear to you that she could do what us people that have her so high believe that she can do, it doesn't really matter. Like, she's done so much. Like, I don't know what else people really, and I'm talking about just Survivor. She's proven she is, even like the greatest players believe she's one of the greatest players. The only reason they don't have her in the Mount Rushmore as a players is because she's never won. If Sari had won one season and still had the rest of her career the same way, let's say she had just won Exile Island. Let's say she doesn't lose that fire making. Let's say that it's fire making with Aris versus Danielle, and Danielle beats Aris in fire making. If the final three, and Terry obviously has all the wins, if she wins that final three though, and then goes on to still do Micronesia the way she did, still go home in Hillsworth Villains, still do Game Changers. I don't see how she's not in the GOAT conversation still, though. Like, I think she would still have to be in the GOAT conversation for sure. Like, one an incredibly dominant season doesn't make or break you, I feel like. I think it could definitely put you in a great position in terms of ranking like Kyle or D, because she doesn't have a Kyle or D level season, but she has seasons that are literally right next to it, like right lower than, and then she has multiple of them. Come on, man. She would definitely be in the GOAT combo. And I don't think I really should have to explain much why she's at number one, but I still went on a 4-minute soliloquy about it. So yeah, no, that's what I got for y'all. And that is the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Push the notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new lit banger. Peace.